As part of this lecture, let's go to the details with respect to database views. Views are not physical structures like tables. Views doesn't hold any data. We create views using queries against the tables. We typically create views for commonly used queries. For example, when it comes to orders and order items, quite often we join these two to get all the order details, including order item details in them. Now let's assume we join orders and order items very often and get all the fields from orders along with few important fields from order items. We wanted to create view so that we don't need to worry too much about writing complex logic every time. The complex logic include join. In this case, we should be able to say o.star to get all the attributes from orders. On top of all the attributes from orders, we also wanted to see some important fields from order items. They are nothing but order item, order ID. Actually, when we say o.star, it includes order ID, and hence it is better to avoid order item, order ID. It doesn't make sense to get order ID from both the tables, but we might want to see attributes such as order item product ID, then order item subtotal. These are the important attributes in order items. Let me say y.order item subtotal to specify even this field. Now we should be able to run this query. This query will return results related to 6 fields. They are nothing but 4 fields from orders and then 2 fields from order items. Instead of using this query all the time, let's say we would like to use view. We should be able to create a view and then we can take it further. When it comes to creating view, we can actually say create view. Then we should be able to specify the view name. In this case, you can say order details underscore v. Then you have to use as. After as, you have to specify the query based on which you wanted to create the view. It will take care of creating the view for you. Let's select this and let's click on this to see if it will be executed or not. It is executed. Now the view is created successfully. We should be able to run queries against the views the same way as we run queries against the tables. In this case, I can say select star from order underscore details underscore v to get the data based on the logic that is there as part of the view. Let me say order underscore details underscore v. Now let me select this and let me run this. We should be able to see the results as per the expectations. In this case, it have actually gone to the view definition, and whatever is there as part of the view definition, it is executed successfully. Based on that, we are able to see the results. In case if you wanted to filter the data, you should be able to filter the data the same way as you filter the data using tables as part of the queries. Let's say I would like to get the details of order where order ID is 2. We just have to say where, then order underscore ID equal to 2. Now we should be able to run it. We can see the 3 records related to order ID 2. This is how we should be able to process the results based on the view definition further. We should be able to perform all standard operations using view the same way we can perform the all standard operations on top of tables. Views are quite useful to modularize the complex logic based upon your requirements. Typically, we create views using commonly used queries. Now, if there is a change with respect to the requirement of the view, if you try to use create view, it will fail saying view already exists. For example, let's say I would like to include even order item ID on top of product ID and subtotal from order items. Now, if I just say oi.order item ID, it will fail. It will say the view already exists. You see here. In case if you want to redefine the views, typically we use create or replace view. If you use create or replace, then if the view doesn't exist, the view will be created. If the view already exists, then the view will be replaced. Now we should be able to run this one to replace the existing view. In this case, it is complaining. Let's see what it is complaining. It is saying cannot change name of view column order item product ID to order item ID. I am not sure why it is trying to change the column name. Probably as I have introduced this one here, it is complaining. Let me actually cut this. Let me make sure I add towards the end. Now let me try running this. This time it is successful. If you try to introduce the columns in the middle, I think it will complain. If you just add columns at the end, it will work. In some databases, even if you introduce columns in the middle, it might work. But in Postgres, it doesn't work. Now let's scroll down and let's run this query. On top of earlier 6 fields, you can see this additional field order item ID as part of the output. This is how you should be able to create view or replace view and also use the view depending upon your requirements. we can actually modularize the complex queries in the form of views so that we don't need to worry too much about writing bigger queries for common use cases. When it comes to orders and order terms, quite often we want to get the details together. For that, we have to join these two. Instead of writing join queries all the time, we can define view and we should be able to use the view. It will simplify the process of our development. As we have gone through quite a few important details with respect to views, now let us explore the differences between views and tables. The main difference between view and table is nothing but view doesn't have any data. It is not a physical structure. Whereas table is a physical structure, table will hold the data. As part of table columns, we might even enforce constraints, whereas views will only have the definition in the form of queries pointing to tables or other views. On top of understanding how to create view and use view, make sure you also understand the difference between view and table. For entry-level interviews, this is a very important interview question. You should be prepared to answer that question effectively.